So Wembley Stadium is booked. At least we do know that Anthony Joshua will fight April next year, 2019, at Wembley Stadium. What we don't know is who will that opponent be. I hate overlooking fighters. I think Joshua Povetkin is a great fight. I really do. I've said this actually for a few months now, that I think Povetkin is still very dangerous. A lot of people think, okay, maybe off the PEDs, maybe he's not the same. He's, 38, I think. Maybe he's not the same fighter. Maybe that Price knockout made him look a lot better than he actually is. Not for me. Not for me. I think he's a great fighter. I still think Joshua has a lot of holes, and someone with that experience could capitalize on him. So I hate overlooking fighters, but let's just, for this time being, overlook Povetkin. Let's just assume that Joshua runs through him, and we have Joshua versus question mark at Wembley Stadium next year. Now, for all intents and purposes, it doesn't look like it's going to be Deontay Wilder. It really doesn't look like it's going to be Wilder at all. I mean, we've gone from 3 months ago, thinking Wilder's going to be very close, if not September, definitely April, to Wilder versus Fury. Wilder pretty much saying he's not fighting Joshua next. Shelley Finkel, Wilder's long-term manager, saying that fight isn't happening next. So Wilder versus Joshua looks, I don't know, people. Honestly, it doesn't look like it's going to happen until late 2019, maybe even 2020, which is unbelievable, but that's kind of what it looks like right now. And I think that's only been heightened by the WBO. Yes, Anthony Joshua does have their belt as well, pretty much saying they're going to enforce their mandatory on Anthony Joshua. Their number one right now, surprisingly, is Alexander Povetkin. That's their number one. So obviously that puts Alexander Povetkin out of the running. Remember, this is obviously with the assumption that obviously Joshua beats Povetkin. Their number two is a certain Dillian Whyte. Yes, Mr. Dillian Whyte is ranked number 2 by the WBO. Now, there's a couple of things that can happen. Dillian Whyte can have a final eliminator. He has spoken about maybe having a fight in November or December. Or, if he does get to the stage where he is mandated to fight Joshua, Dillian Whyte will probably sit it out until April. Can you blame him? You are literally saying, Dillian Whyte, you are going to win the lottery in April. Do you want to roll the dice and fight Chisora in November or December, or do you want to wait it out? Dillian Whyte will sit it out. And look, I don't necessarily blame Dillian Whyte here. I don't. For this whole bullshit. I don't blame Dillian Whyte. If I'm Dillian Whyte and I've tasted that pay-per-view money and that pay-per-view money was sweet, you know, we're led to believe it was, you know, a nice 7-figure payday, and not just like 1 million, but 1 point something, maybe even 2. He's tasted that. He wants nothing more than another pay-per-view fight. So for him, the options are very simple. Deontay Wilder or Anthony Joshua. What else is a pay-per-view fight for Dillian Whyte? Personally, for me, I want to see Dillian Whyte versus Luis Ortiz. I don't like the rhetoric that Luis Ortiz has done because everyone thinks he's mid-40s. I don't like that. I think Luis Ortiz is still very dangerous. I think Luis Ortiz was 20 seconds away from getting Deontay Wilder out of there. And then this whole boxing landscape would be very different. I think Luis Ortiz is still an extremely dangerous opponent. And honestly, if the fight happened tomorrow, I know I always go against Dillian Whyte, so people might give me stick about it, but I think Dillian Whyte loses to Luis Ortiz. That's what I think. So I would prefer that. But I can guarantee you we're not going to get that. And if I had to put my money on what happens in April, if I had to put all my money, which isn't a lot right now, but if I had to put what I've got in my pocket right now, who does AJ fight in April? Who is that question mark? It'll be Dillian Whyte. Why wouldn't it be? Eddie Hearn will get all the money. It's a Matchroom show, baby. He doesn't have to pay another guy to come over. He doesn't have to do all that. It's Matchroom versus Matchroom. Whoever wins, well, I say whoever, he wants AJ to win, but regardless, he's a winner each way. And that's what's going to happen. And that's what it looks like the plan is anyway, if I'm honest with you. I mean, Eddie Hearn's not dumb. He knows what the WBO are about to do way before. We've only found out, what, in the last 24 hours. Eddie Hearn probably found out a couple of weeks ago. And Dillian Whyte is number 2. Deontay Wilder doesn't look like it's happening. So expect Dillian Whyte, AJ 2 in April, people. Are you disappointed? I am.